Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. The vets will know what's going on here, but we are here, myself and Croncy, very focused on something. Where Croncy's not here, guys. He had something to do with the newborn, so we're gonna miss him this week. But make sure you check him out on Twitch and stuff like that if you haven't yet. Yeah, so not streaming on his stream because those are things that he has to be able to do. So it's just going to be here with me and on YouTube. And if you guys are new here and never heard of Answer the Call before, it's the Star Citizen podcast where myself and a not frozen Croncy will join and talk about Star Citizen news. And the big call part is we open up the Discord and take calls from you guys to hear what you have to say. Today was, or this week, I should say, was a pretty slow week. We had no patches, no hot fixes, kind of nothing until the end of the week. We did have some MOTDs where it was, you are getting a crafting playtest on Monday or Tuesday. And then it was like, no, you're not. And now we are again. And it's probably going to have the inventory stuff in it. So that's a big update. So want to hear from you guys about that. Are you excited about that? On top of that, it also sounds like we're going to have the transport test in these tests as well. I feel like they don't think the transport test is going to get enough people in it, so they're trying to push it in with the crafting one. But I feel like the transport test has to be this like focus test where it's like, hey, guys, bunch of you just ride these trains and elevators and tell us what happens. You know what I mean? But who knows what they actually need. Monthly report. Biggest news from the monthly report was very interesting. And by the way, we'll just stay on the scene. I'm not going to hop back and forth because usually while we're talking and I can send it over to Croncy and put some cool stuff on the screen. I won't be able to do that today while I'm alone. But anyway, the kind of biggest thing I think out of the monthly report was this. I think this is huge. I don't know what you guys think about this. I'd love to hear what you think. They are hinting at the fact that the Valacar, they're not calling it the irradiated Valacar, so this Valacar might be larger, is able to move underground and chase players. Find players. Chase is maybe not the right word, but find players. And so, yeah. I'm thinking that is the like original Monox Valacar that we had heard about from CitizenCon 24. So yeah, it sounds planet wide. So if you're on the surface of Monox, let's say, which is where they showed it, you got to be careful because it might be coming for you. You got to prepare yourself for a big worm fight. Maybe they talked about doing more stuff with Disco's character. We heard Gaktak Raylan is through white box, so then it has to go through gray box, final art, and more setup. So that's probably going to be Alien Week. Then you have Hull B, which is through its gray box review. Next step is final art. Ironclad looks very good with a lot of Drake parts on it. And then they just mentioned the Kraken from North America. So there's a lot going on. There's tons of unannounced ships. We obviously know one of them that's coming. I think it'll probably be next week or the week after, which is the, I keep calling it the Soul, but the Argo salvage ship. Mission design, they keep talking about the new mission thing. They talk about that more in SCL. Big stuff from SCL is transport system. We just talked about that. They want to do a play test. They have New Babbage done. They're working on ArcCorp, and they want us to do play tests with that. They talked a lot about freight elevators for a little bit, and I want to hear your opinions about this as well. Jared was like, oh, we need to be able to put our stuff in a box and turn it into Wicklow that way. And it was like, no, I immediately was like, no, you don't get it because you don't play the game. No, we don't need that. That is a waste of time. For Wicklow, it is a waste of time. But we have tons of issues with nesting boxes within inventories. I don't know if you guys are aware. If somebody owns a box, somebody else owns a box, and you put stuff in it, you can see it if it's out in the world. But if you put it in your inventory, you can't see inside of it anymore. That's a big problem. That's something that should be fixed. But like I see somebody in Twitch that say just have a Dropbox for items. No, there's like way more elegant solutions for this that every other video game does, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing these. Ready for like to blow your mind? This is going to be so crazy. Like it's like it's crazy. People say I don't understand game development or complain about things that I talk about with like game design. But you ready for this one? Imagine opening your Mobiglass and the mission knowing what's in your inventory. And then you hit submit. Imagine that. Oh my God. That's crazy. So that's where like Jared's right. We should be able to put everything in with a box. So it's not like individually dropping items. Right? But guys, slow down here. Slow down. Oh my God, that's crazy. But imagine if you just opened your Mobiglass and the game knew what was in your inventory. But no, we got to be able to put it that we have to put everything down a freight elevator to complete a mission. Stop it. Get some help. No, you do not. Maybe because of the new mission system stuff, maybe that's how it has to be for now. And I can accept that. I cannot accept that as a 1.0 feature. Guys, we cannot keep talking about this studio and building them up like they're the best thing ever if they don't do the simple things well. And if turning in things for quests is not simple and easy, they don't deserve like praise on that specific feature or whatever, right? So like if they go this route and it's not being communicated that like, hey, this is still very temporary, we want to go this direction, which they've never talked about doing that at all, then we need to keep pushing them. We need to keep pushing them to be better. And that's something I think that we absolutely need to push them to be better on. There's no reason for it to be that way. End of story, right? Okay. Next, these are all things I have for weekend review, so you'll be hearing it for a second time tomorrow. Item recovery is a big thing that they talked about. I am confused. So this is a big point of the show for me. I want to hear what you guys thought Benoit was talking about, because I have no idea, to the point where I reached out to a couple Star Citizen devs and was like, hey, can you like, here's what my issue is, here's what I don't understand. And I didn't ask them to tell me what's going on. I asked them to see if Benoit would make a Spectrum post and clarify. So basically, he talked about insurance and he talked about ships. And I think the one thing that was very clear is that if you buy a ship with in-game credits, Jared said some weird shit about stealing, but again, Jared doesn't play the game, so I don't think he understood the thing that was going on there. If he does, and stealing it comes into play here before 1.0 or before we're much closer to 1.0, that would be interesting. But I don't think he was onto anything there, but we'll see. If you have an entitlement for a ship, that was a very key word, entitlement. If you have an entitlement for a ship, that means you bought it on the website. This is what I believe it means. You bought it on the website, you bought it for in-game credits, or you got it from Wicklow, or you got it from the CZs. Those are the 4 places you can get ships. Okay? I don't think stealing gives you the entitlement to that ship. That doesn't really make sense. It's stolen. You're not entitled to it. That is how they're going to treat it from now on, where you were only had entitlement if you bought it for real money. There was some other BS that they were doing when you earned ships other ways. So now they're going to go the way of, hey, if you bought it in game, it's going to be treated as if you bought it on the website. We're never going to delete that by accident. Thumbs up. Got nothing bad to say about that. Then he started talking about FPS insurance. You guys know how I feel about that. How does all of this tie into crafting? You can't get us excited for crafting and then have this really weirdly thought out insurance system. I've watched this back about 15 times. I'm still confused. Really confused. So he talked about insuring FPS items. If I can insure everything I go out in the world with and not lose it, and if the even if crafting is involved to get it back. So like let's use I don't know, just an FPS weapon as an example, and I die and I lose that in the tier 1 item recovery system. If I get a blueprint and get it back, not everybody wants to do the crafting stuff. And what's really great about MMOs is there's people who like doing things that other people don't like doing. For example, not everybody likes to PvP, but in a lot of games, there's a lot of MMOs, there's like PvP stuff that you have to do. Some games are really focused on PvP, some aren't. But even in games that are really focused on PvP, you got players who don't like PvP, right? That's kind of like me and Eve. I do it because we kind of have to, but I don't enjoy it that much. I like every other aspect of the game. Albion Online was a big one as well for me. That was like, I'm not really into the PvP side of things, but I got to be able to do it. And you had your dedicated guys that focused on those aspects, right? Will we be dedicated crafters? I'm so confused about all these kind of things. So I want to hear what you guys think. Come on, pop on. Let me know what you think he was talking about. I believe he was talking more on the technical side. He's CTO. He mentioned the word insurance so many times, and then Jared cut him off and said, "Hey, there is no insurance coming in these next patches, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, right." So he's using and throwing around the word insurance a lot, a bit willy-nilly in the conversation. So that's why I think a clarification would be great. What the hell are you talking about? What is FPS insurance? And so on. So, and he was like, you're able to like place insurance on your FPS items. What are we going to a terminal for everything? There was just, I have so many questions. It was just very weird. Yeah, and then Jared talked about like getting rid of ships. He gave this weird example of you store your ship in New Babbage, and that's where it creates an imprint. And it's like, do you only get an imprint on your ship when you store it? Do you get an imprint on your ship when you go to some sort of insurance terminal? Like, what are we talking about here? Very confused. So there's so much out there. Now, this specific one did make some sense to me if this is how it plays out. You store a ship, it has cargo inside of it at New Babbage. You fly away, which gives you the go to, I don't know, Levski. This gives you the option to claim that ship because you're not at the location. You claim that ship with cargo in it. That ship is now bricked, the one that had the cargo in it, and you get a new version of that ship at Levski. You fly that ship back to New Babbage. You're now, with this new system, you're able to spawn that bricked ship in, and that ship still has the cargo, but the ship can't fly and none of the components work. That's what I think is happening there. I'm seeing it makes a new imprint every time you bring out or store your ship. I think it might be more than that because that's ship related. What about your FPS items? How do you snapshot FPS items? And if we're talking about that as like this new grant, we already have that. It's tier 0 item recovery. Why are we doing it differently? We're just adding extra steps, pretending like crafters are going to be involved in this, and it doesn't sound like they are. So Lots of clarification needs to happen. Again, I kind of loosely tried to reach out to Benoit in a way, see if he can make like some sort of Spectrum post so members of the community can have a better understanding of what he was talking about there. My guess is we're not going to get that post because my assumption is they're going to have a show about it when it's closer, and they're going to talk about it with us. And if this is all just temporary bullshit, just like Tier 0 item recovery was, who cares? I'm fine with whatever temporary system they have. But when they drop that document and say this is how our insurance is going to work, and it's still what we heard at CitizenCon 2024 with the 1.0 demo, deuces. I don't think this game is gonna survive. At least on the crafting side, and that's the side of the game I want to play. Bye. Is the vibe I'm getting. I don't think it's going to work out very well. So then they talked about social tools, that they're doing some of them. The first thing is going to basically be chat, and then the next thing is going to be party, and then after that is guilds. But the only thing that they kind of confirmed in 2026 was chat, and maybe notifications. Inventory, again, coming in the 4.7 patch, basically confirmed, and they're pushing for crafting in 4.7. Last week, Croncy and I said, Croncy, are you listening? Croncy said, no way we're getting crafting in 4.7. They're pushing for it. Yeah, they called it the social app. It's the chat. So they're pushing for it, which is crazy. All right. Next is a wipe. We are not getting a wipe. They are doing a targeted wipe. What is that? I have no idea. Are you only going to wipe money? Are you only going to wipe dupers? Are you only going to wipe exploiters? Because those guys who duped and exploited used UEX. All the money is spread everywhere. So how are you going to target these things? Should be targeted bans, I see in the Twitch chat. Sure. I mean, these people should be targeted and have action on them. But the damage has been done. The game's economy is completely broken. And before you say what economy, which I normally would be the first guy to jump in and say that, UEX was like a really big driving factor for people to play this game, right? And all of this stuff really hurt that economy, which we, the players, created better than anything CIG could do. And we did it quickly, simply, and we used the systems in the game and just dealt with it. Meanwhile, CIG is just twiddling their thumbs saying, oh, game development's hard and we can't do any of these things. But we figured it out on our own. And honestly, I think it's a perfect example of the health of their current economy. I think it's a perfect example of just how unhealthy it is. And it acts very quickly when things are broken. Prices for items soared the moment there was an exploit. Soared. And because we, the players, are able to act quicker than the developers. So this whole wipe thing, I don't think we should wipe player ships, even though they might have bought them with some of this exploited money. But I definitely think we should wipe duped items and all of the money. I don't know what you think. But that does keep that player economy kind of going. And back to normal when players' bank balances go down. Regardless, the entire game is an exploit because it's endless faucets and no sinks. So who knows? Doesn't even matter, I guess. What am I talking about? Lastly, the thing on my list was spawning. They talked about spawning in place. So if you stand out in the middle of Daymar and log out, that's where you're going to respawn back in, not the last station that you were at. With some rules, obviously. I doubt you're going to be able to spawn in a CZ loot room, for example. And I do hope they do the thing where if you don't leave the game in a safe area, then you'll be in the game vulnerable for a little bit. Is Evo getting new members worth a mention? Not really. I mean, it's the same thing they do every year. They add 2,000 more members and nobody tests. I don't think it's worth mentioning at all because everybody just joins that to see the new thing and doesn't actually test because nobody's getting paid to test. And then they complain that it's not good enough. So, but they added about 2,000 more members, so it'll be popping for a couple days, and then everyone will realize that all of their efforts in Evo Kati don't really do as much as they would have hoped it would. All right, more stuff. Social systems, again, don't sound like they're going to be in 2026. They talked about VoIP improvements for like 2 seconds and then changed the conversation to regional chat. Speaking of chat, there's some movement on player reporting for people being assholes in in-game chat, mission system stuff that they want to improve on that. Really funny story is they were like, ooh, we don't, if you guys heard the part of SCL where they were like, we don't want to go there. Ooh, I don't know if I should say this. I know exactly what they're talking about. They were trying not to shit on Tony Z because Tony Z made the last mission system. We all know this. They said it on a Star Citizen Live. So Tony Z made the last mission system, and it's really shitty and isn't good enough for anything that they want to do. And they were trying to not shit on him, but they like kind of shit on him through that conversation, which was like, oh, okay. A lot of us held Tony Z at really high regard. It sounds like they don't. So it was like, whoa, I don't want to start drama, obviously, but that was kind of like one of those things where like they thought we didn't know. But I can't remember, what I'm supposed to do today, like what errands my wife, has asked us to do for Sunday. Are we going to the store? What are we eating for dinner? Did I do my laundry? When's my next hockey game? I have no idea. But let me tell you something. I know who made the mission system. I have locked in this vault the most useless information possible. And that was one of them. So they thought we didn't remember that stuff, I guess, or they didn't know that if they talked about it publicly, but they did. It was the Elliot episode where he was like, running through the mission system and actually showing it. Mentioned that Tony made it. Boom. I don't know why I remember that dumb shit. Don't want to start drama when starting drama. No. That's the thing, is me saying it doesn't start any drama. It's when you guys go around and are like, ooh, that's when it starts drama. You're the only people capable of starting drama, not me. All right. Inventory rework will have proximity. We will have more Twitch drops next year, which is poggers for myself and Croncy, because my view count was like insane when we had it. Nick's won this year, and then Jared went like this. So maybe towards the end of the year. And exploits are a really high priority for them. And they are not Band-Aid fixing them. They're slowly fixing them and using their internal QA to make sure that it's fixed. Who trusts them? Not me. We'll see. And then the Battlecruiser, again, was the last concept. The sneak peek was just the Argo salvage ship again. And the sub promo, I got to give props to the sub promo. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's a little heart lamp and a nightstand. The sub promo is kind of crappy, but props to the package because it's the previous stuff and it's making like this Valentine's Day kind of furniture set for people to buy for their bases whenever that happens. I do believe that's kind of the stuff that they should sell. All right, with that, that is my, quick as I possibly could, run through of the news for the week. Now I kind of want to get to you guys and see what you have to say. There's 4 callers. Guys, the callers in the list, we're going to cap it at that. If I don't have Croncy to go back and forth with, it doesn't quite feel like an answer the call for me. So I want to kind of get to you guys give you a little bit of time and keep this one kind of short. Yeah, fine. We'll go with the full 5 waiting room because I see Snugs popped in. All right. First caller, we're going to bring in Miles or Pepic Walrus. Hello. I don't think Chet can hear you, so give me a second to make sure I have that set. One more mic check on you, Miles.
Test. Test.
What is happening? Guys, you can hear him? I can't. That is very odd, and I actually think I know why. Hold on. Okay, Miles, I hear you.
Hello.
Hello, what's up?
There we go. I've been good. It's been a bit. Yeah, I think what we learned last week was a lot of good stuff. I agree with you that they definitely really want crafting for 4.7 or 4.7. And I think social, they'll get the social, even if it's not ready. They'll put whatever form it's in and get it in.
They didn't say social for 4.7.
Benoit, I think, said he wanted the comms app for 4.7. Oh, no, you were saying inventory. Right.
Inventory.
Got those.
The only thing confirmed from that SCL was inventory.
Inventory, yes. I could see the social being the, summer, the Evocati, or not Evocati, Invictus, around Invictus as the push there. For the insurance stuff, I am remembering they use the term entitlement. I am remembering that you will be able to stuff you buy in the store will have entitlements or warranties. I think was the other changeable term that they had.
I think warranty was something entirely different.
Yes,
I think what we currently have is warranty. Is the maximum possible insurance, right?
Yes, because there was SSCon. There was 2 terms previously used. There was one that was one covers the item, one covers the credit cost. And I think the default was
the thing is it doesn't matter what they said because what they said is a shitty system. In my for me, I'm just speaking from my opinion, is we can go back and say what they said. I remember what they said. I don't think it's gonna work. For the game they want to make.
Well, I agree with you that if you can just get whatever back, let's say I buy a gun from you that you made that's Mike Super Duper Blaster, and then I can just insure it and then get it back, whatever. That's, people will just buy the one thing they want and then be set for the rest of the game.
And then they talk about crafting being insurance or progression. So you won't want it because you want to progress into something else, but that's not really how I expect things to work. It's weird.
Yeah, because eventually you will get to the point where you're like, well, I have my dream gear. I don't need anything else if you could just keep that. What should happen is I buy a super gun from somebody and I insure it with put insurance on it. If I lose it, I get a stock version back of that item. But it's they have the tier, so it's if I insure a tier 5 gun, then in paying the top tier of insurance on it, I can get that tier 5 gun back, but everything on it will just be the base tier 5 stuff.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. And we've talked about that for ever since we heard it at SitCon in the 1.0 demo. It was okay, why don't, but what level of item are we going to get? But then they talk about, well, every single item inside of your ship is going to come back exactly where you placed it. And it was well, that certainly doesn't sound like it's going to go back to the lowest level. So it, again, like I said, it doesn't matter what they say because I don't think it's going to work. And I think they absolutely have to change this, or why bother with crafting? Just make WoW instead.
I want a craft economy as well.
Yeah, so it's I'm so confused. And that's all I'm left with, this confusion, and all I just want is I'm sorry, it's 2026. Documentation on how your insurance system is going to work. You should know this. Every developer that is working on crafting, base building, ships, everything should know how this stuff works in order to develop this game towards 1.0. That should be a thing, and they may have that. But again, everything we heard at CitizenCon doesn't make sense in a crafting economy. So it's not that they don't have a plan, it's that they're not telling us what that plan is, and what they have told us sounds really shitty. So I just don't
Yes.
know. I keep wanting them to speak more about it so we can pick holes in it before they work on it.
Yes. They've like, and this was like, I think the issue with like Benoit during this SCL is that they clearly have internal dialogue, internal, like, they're looking at it from an internal point of view. We're looking at it from an external point of view, where there's that disconnect. Where I don't think they realize how big of a disconnect there is at times, that from their inside to outside, what they've, because they have only really trickled information out, like, at a, they have not really committed to a full, here's the documentation on it.
Yeah. Like I see people saying they realize they just don't want to commit to it publicly. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I've been here for fucking since 2012. I don't believe they have a solid plan. That's I'm
It
not saying
feels
that
like it changes.
I'm not saying that for sure they don't. Like I won't commit to like they absolutely don't know what they're doing. They're stupid. They're the dumbest people in the world. I'm so smart. I'm not going to say something like that. But I've been around long enough that they have to prove to me that they know on this. And for me, this is more important than crafting, more important than base building, more important than any new ship that comes out, because this, how things explode, how things come back from explosion, how things get stolen, how they come back from being stolen, if they come back from being stolen or being exploded, is what will make this sandbox move and go around. And
Yes.
if they don't do those things, what, you know? So
It's like,
everything sounds like it doesn't matter if stuff explodes. Every time they talk, doesn't matter if you die. Hey, whales, keep buying stuff because it doesn't matter if you die. And it's just like, are we making a game or are we still focused on the store? And it sounds like we're still focused on the store. So I don't know what to say or what to do until we get some actual clarification. But a couple
that
more
is,
minutes, Walrus, and
yes.
we'll go to someone else. So I'll stop
Yep.
ranting.
I gotta just a couple more things on the topic. That is the fear, that is like, if you're paying the insurance, it's just gonna be like it is right now, where you just get everything back as it is.
Yeah.
That is hopefully won't be the case. Hopefully it's like hopefully the tiers can be like, yeah, I'm paying insurance, so I have those checkpoints that I've worked up from. All right, I go from tier 1, now I have that kind of fall back to tier 2 of my insurance, at least, or whatever the tier was, and then you can work back up. And then when you're in that tier, you can still play around in the crafting zone to get better stuff in a tier versus a stock thing.
Yeah.
And then with Jared's thing about like deleting items, I think what he was talking about was like, let's say you do the CZ and you get like 5 Sulians or whatever. I think that's the one in there, the
Yeah.
one of the
You
ones you
should
can
be able to
get, the
sell
worst
them
one.
back or
Yeah, just get rid of them from
salvage
your,
them.
so you don't have them. Yeah. And then with like the stealing topic, I think there was more. I don't think he was talking about anytime soon. I think that he was again looking at it from their 1.0 plan of, when you steal something, you'll be able to have a window to disable the failsafe or whatever, the brick device
Mm-hmm.
in it,
Yeah.
and
They,
get ownership of
again,
it.
they talked all about that. So you can
Yeah,
dupe a ship. Sweet.
yeah,
You just have to make some sort of an effort to dupe it. Okay. Cool, I guess.
and yeah. Uh, and then finally, they complain about not having enough testers, but then keep locking it to like Evo and stuff.
Yeah,
Open
that's
it
the
up.
other
Open these
thing is
chests.
like this is going to go to an Evo NDA playtest, and it's like why? Why? It doesn't need to. What do we? I don't
Yeah,
get what they're so afraid of. Their live server looks so bad all the time. It's a disaster. Why are they afraid to show new
yeah.
stuff
I'm
in the
not.
same state? I don't get it.
I'm not evil, but I can't imagine it's usually much worse than live servers at times. And at the very least, even if it's in a bad state, it's still showing progress that they're working on stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
that I will leave there
Okay.
for the most part. The exploit. This is one more thing. Sorry, with the exploits, it's a double-edged situation where it's like we want to discover. This is the time for people to abuse those exploits and discover them, but
100%.
there is a fine line of finding exploits and documenting it, and then just abusing the exploits. So that it's a tricky situation where it's like, yeah, there should be some drawbacks, but you don't want to like turn people off from like reporting said exploits of like,
Yeah. So, but like at this point, the exploit was you could literally give yourself 1,000,000,000,000 credits. So like
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
remove the credits from the game. Like the
Oh yeah, there should definitely be a like reset. That very much should be a case. But like in talks to like bans and stuff, it's a double edged situation where
yeah,
it's
bans
like,
are a way less necessary thing than just like, all right, start fresh. We may not take your ships away, but like, guys, we got to take the money out of the
yeah,
thing. But I think they also have to
reset the
address
economy.
their mission system too with that.
Yes, and I will leave that there for the next guy. So good
Sounds
talking.
good. Appreciate it. Be good, and
Later.
yeah, we'll catch you next week, and hopefully with a more peppy Croncy because the show doesn't feel the same without him.
Yeah, practicing his thinking man
Very
statue
stoic.
competition again.
Very
All
stoic.
right, later.
Catch up. Bye bye. Our next caller is Sharkbite. Sharkbite, can you hear me? Unmuted, but I don't hear you. You got push to talk on or something?
I'm here. I'm muting my computer. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry, when I restart my computer, SteelSeries changes the audio output so that I can't use my volume wheel to control it.
Sweet.
Um,
What do you want
so
to talk about?
yeah. So what I was gonna say is there was a period in my life where I was actually like licensed to sell insurance, and the thing that they do is they make sure that the insurance is always priced so that regardless of how many people they have signed up under them and whatever, they're always going to make more than they pay out, and
Yep.
they are required by law to keep enough in their whatever bank account that they could pay out all of their claims at maximum if they needed to, but the way that they price the insurance is set up so that they're always going to be making money. um, so basically, like, I don't have a problem with people getting back like stock stuff, or if they're going to get back their ships with their components, their loadouts, their decorations, they should be paying enough on the regular that by the time they actually have to make a claim, they've paid enough into it that they're essentially just offsetting a massive expenditure by making a lot of small ones. Because that's the way actual insurance is supposed to work.
That's great. That's the real life example, but let's use the game
Yeah.
example of the money that you're paying to is this mysterious insurance company in a video game where that money just
Yep.
goes down a hole and goes to nobody. That can be
Hmm.
okay. It's just, those are sinks and then there's faucets where money comes out, right? If that's
Yep.
the sink that they
Exactly.
want and that works, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, but I am going to say that I prefer if the purchase of your lost items go to the players in the game and the sinks are more things like taxes
Sure.
or I mean, like, again, my preference, I've always said, is your ship blows up, you get 20%, 30% of the money back, and you go, or a good percent. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm just throwing out a random number there on the percentage. That's for game devs to balance. And then you go and you
Yeah.
buy that stuff from players in the game. And it should be easy to
And
do so. It should be easy to get those ships after you purchase them, and you just go and you keep playing again. Let's take this friction out. But the
yeah.
obsession of this is my ship is stupid to me. You could set up your
Um
loadout and have it be exactly what you want, but I would just
yeah.
prefer if you bought it from the players in the game, so those items are crafted by players, and then
Yeah.
loss matters, and fighting over commodities
So
matter, and then
for
everything matters.
to kind of blend that, the way that I've pictured it, and I don't think it's all theory crafting. I think it's kind of based on what they've said in the past. I could be wrong, but my thought was like, okay, so I have my 600i with my whatever cannons that I have on it, and I
Yep.
have the stuff that my standard loadout,
Yep.
and it blows up because we have a player guided but not completely player run economy. When that ship blows up, then it creates a actual quest, a mission for people to like make a 600i. And
They have
so like
never
I can
said that
still
they want
get
to do this. They I
okay. So
have. You've heard it on this show from
okay,
me.
that's
CIG has
probably
never
yeah.
said they want to do this. I said that that would
But
be the good middle ground
that would be the
where
ideal, yeah, where it creates a quest. It's not I don't have to wait for it. Like I can just have mine come with the standard insurance claim, but it would create more of a drive for people to craft those specific things because they're getting paid more, and like if there are suddenly like hundreds of 600 eyes that need to be made, the more of them that are in deficit, the higher you get paid to make them, and so that would create more of a drive in the economy. And now like obviously for all the components and everything as well.
yeah, I added
Um,
even more onto it where it was like um you claim your Idris or your 600i in your example,
yeah,
and you get it back faster if one's available on the market where you're,
yeah,
or somebody, and available on the market means, you're buying that from a player, and all of that stuff
yeah,
gets scooped up real quick, and that's the whole thing. And it, like, guys, if I don't get what the argument is, if you are like, insurance is basically just a shopping list of all the things that you had before, and the game going and collecting those and giving it to you. If it did that, but the players were the ones who the game is buying the items from for that shopping list, what's the problem? Right? So, like, if you want to get back in
yeah.
the game right away and go, it doesn't need to be insurance. It just needs to be a good marketplace. I don't,
Yep.
and if those
Um,
things aren't available there, that's kind of where CIG wants to like fit in and
fill in the gaps. Yeah.
make those things available so you can keep playing. And if they do that within this like economy and it makes sense, then I have no problem with it. But again, they haven't communicated that in any way. So it's like,
Okay. Yeah. I guess the one thing that I would say that's a little bit different as far as like insurance, like um, ideally, if you like have a flood or have your house burned down or whatever, and you have comprehensive homeowners insurance that covers
mhm,
all that stuff, it's not just the house or whatever that
it's
gets
everything
replaced, it's
inside.
the possessions in the house. Yeah.
But they don't get
And
replaced. They give you money to replace them. And
they
you
they
buy
do give
them
you money to
from
replace them.
people who crafted those things in the real fucking world, and the money and the
Yep.
world keeps moving and spinning and going around. Right?
Yep.
And that's
Um,
the difference here.
I think that one thing that I would choose to gamify, like if it were up to me, which obviously it's not, but if it were up to me, I would say like, okay, what if I have my little bobbleheads or whatever up on my dashboard? I have my artwork hanging up that I've placed on the walls, etc. Like that stuff can take hours to set up, and it's all cosmetic.
Bro,
If there's a
cosmetics
way that they can,
are not part of this, in my opinion, at all.
I mean, they've said that the stuff that your ship is decorated with will
Oh,
be
no,
covered by
sorry. Let
insurance.
me rephrase.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm with you. Like, cosmetics have no gameplay implication whatsoever, so they absolutely should always come back with, like, even if your prospector is tier 0, tier 1, tier 5, tier 12, it doesn't matter. Like, your bobblehead should be there, your skin should be on it, your painting should be where they are. None of that stuff is relevant to and I don't think that they should be able to be stolen necessarily or anything like that, right? We're talking
Yeah,
about power and components
yeah,
and
components. Yeah, yeah,
those kind of things. Um the
yeah. And I know
actual
there's a little bit of
progression of the
a
game.
there's a little bit of an overlap with, like, if you have weapons on your weapons rack, or you have like consumables, food and stuff, like put in boxes or lockers or whatever. Like, that stuff costs money, but also it's stuff that is generally going to be the tier 0 stuff. Maybe if you had a nice maxed out sniper rifle on your rack, you get the stock one back, but you should at least get a weapon back if you had it covered with insurance.
Yeah, but
I don't know how
then
you feel about that, but
the whole thing that you feel about that is uh or the whole thing that I feel about that is that's not what you want, right? So
okay.
you're
Even if
giving
it's
me
causing a
well,
ripple on the
hold up.
other side. Okay.
Hold, just because like are like let's use your example, right? I worked really hard. I got this. I probably shouldn't have had to work really hard. I just bought it from another player, like by playing the game the way I wanted to. I got this really good sniper rifle, and I died and I lost it. But you want to replace it with a really shitty sniper rifle, so you're not replacing it. You're giving me a really shitty sniper rifle in placement for this really good one. So I would rather have the option to get a really good sniper rifle, but just use tools that make that like the I listen. The question I asked for the callers was not what we're discussing right now, but it's hard not to do this. This is the
Yeah.
most discussed topic on this podcast since its inception. Way before Croncy was here, way before anybody. It was go look back at the titles on the old on my channel. There's more
Mhm.
titles involving insurance than anything else because it is I'm not the only one who recognizes how important it is. And those were the most spicy or like conversation of everybody putting their 2 cents in and what should be there. I was questioning what the hell are we getting in the next patch with or whenever this stuff comes because
Gotcha. Okay.
right, but again, we can keep talking about this. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
uh, we've talked far and beyond about what things should be, and everybody has a different uh idea. There's tons of like
Yeah.
I played Ultima Online. I never lost my gear. It would lose durability, a tiny one point of durability, and everything at 255 every time you died. It would lose one, and you had to pay out of your bank for the. You would just click, I would like to insure this item. I never lost that, and that's the best MMO I ever played. Right, so there was no loss in that
Yep.
game, and I paid for it every time. And crafters weren't became irrelevant. It didn't used to be that
Yeah.
way. There used to be full loot and everything got lost when you died. Insurance was not a
Yeah.
thing when I first started playing.
I used to play RuneScape, so yeah, you used to lose stuff all the time in that, and then they started making stuff so that it was easier to keep and whatever. I do like in the RuneScape system, they still have the kind of paper doll thing, but they have overlays where you can take an item, put it in a box, and then wear that item on top. And as long as you're not in a like if you're in a non-combat area, or before you enter combat, then your gear just looks like whatever your cosmetics were,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have the stats. If you enter combat or whatever, then you're in an area where it shows what you're actually wearing.
Yeah.
I think in Star Citizen that's less relevant because someone either has light, medium, or heavy armor, there's probably going to be some extra stats or whatever. But since there's going to be variation even among like a heavy armor plate, you just know that you're fighting a person and they're wearing armor. You don't know if their chest plate has like maximum deflection or whatever anyway, regardless of what it looks like. So I don't have a problem with just having override cosmetics on everything all the time.
Same.
Um,
I've always felt that way. But I now that we have this crafting system, it's not just a cosmetic thing anymore. Now it's a
yeah,
power thing. And it's like, if somebody, like the way Benoit described it is, I get the best stuff that I can possibly get, insure it, and I never lose it.
yeah.
Okay, but what again, as somebody who wants to craft, and I am biased, game's dead. Just like UO was.
So what if you have a system where you, if something gets broken, then there's a percent chance that it drops a grade. And most of the crafting systems that I've played with, every grade it goes up, it's essentially an exponential amount that you have to put into it to upgrade it back to that level. So you can say like you have a bunch of tier 1 chest plates and you have a tier 10 chest plate that you're upgrading. Well, you have to put in 100 of the tier 1s to bump it back up that last step to get it. If it goes down to 9, you want to get it back up to 10. You have to take a bunch of the lower level resources to essentially refine those into enough material to get your premium back. It gives you a sink for actual crafted materials that players are using, and it makes it so that there is some risk, but it's not guaranteed it's going to drop a grade. It's just like the more damage it takes when you die, the higher the chances that it comes back at a slightly lower level.
I don't know. It all comes down to like put it in, let us test it, and we play it. But
Yep.
I still think the best option's the simplest one. And believe it or not, the simplest thing I think is you lose everything and there's just an easy marketplace to pick stuff up and go again.
Yep. Or you
That's
do a
me.
loot run if you really like that gun.
Yeah. Or you do a loot run and go get it back. Like
Yep.
if I recall correctly, the original engineering talks were like, hey, your ship doesn't die, so you can go back, collect it, and repair it. Like we don't
Yeah, they
want you
did say
claiming.
that. Yep. On that note, tangential, but they really need to have a system where I can have something delivered from another location and essentially just wait the time that it takes. If it doesn't have cargo in it, I should be able to have my ship delivered to me in whatever the time it takes to quantum jump and park the ship, without like,
100%.
if I have a vehicle in it, yes. If I have a bunch of cargo in it, then maybe it rolls a loot table and it says, "Hey, you got attacked by pirates and lost 20% of your cargo," and that's the risk you take for not flying it yourself. But
I don't
yeah,
like that. I
no,
think you can.
okay,
I mean, dude, EVE Online, you can create contracts and have people move stuff for you. Why not just have
yep. I
players?
mean, that would be great.
Why
Yeah,
don't we just have the players do it? Like again, there's
yep,
nothing to do in this game other than take screenshots and role play. Why are we not
true.
just like helping each other? I cannot say this enough. And Shark, this is where I'm going to leave you.
Yep, go ahead.
So I will. What's the play here? I will. No, it's fine. Just listen in here. But I'm gonna push you out after this point. Not because I don't want you to respond, but we got to move on. The
Right.
the I forgot what I was gonna say. What was the last thing you just said? Sorry. Repeat yourself.
I was talking about ships being delivered with
Got
the
it.
stuff inside them potentially. Yeah.
Got it. What is so special about MMOs that nobody at CIG understands, I don't think, because the guys who were MMO guys are at the top and all they're focused on is running the business and running the people below them. And everybody else is literally a kid and never played them. You use each other because you can't do everything. And the newer modern MMOs all die because you do everything and you don't rely on anybody. And what was always special about MMOs is what we're doing right now. This community kind of stuff. We're talking to each other. We need
Yeah.
each other. We're coming up with solutions together to solve a problem. Like, I see somebody in YouTube chat saying it's not Eve. No shit. That's why it's so bad, right? And that's why one game has nothing and another game has survived and continues to make incredibly good revenue and is 20 something years old, right? And the other one
Yep.
has to sell everything in order to make any revenue and finish their product. So, like, come on. Let's look back at like what the really good MMOs did. We use each other. There's a little bit of a problem. It doesn't have to be an incredibly hard hurdle to get over. A little bit of a problem, and we use each other for those solutions. And CIG wants to be the one to create all the solutions, and that's the problem here. Is they're never going to be able to move as quickly as us. They're never going to be able to keep up with this stuff like we can, and they're never going to understand the game like we can because they won't be as in love with it as we are. So it's just impossible to do with the way they want to do it, is in my opinion, because they want to control everything and you just can't. And if you just give us some tools and let us do it and then see how we do it and support it in a positive way, like, that's the thing, is I'm not trying to make everything difficult and make it pain. It's you have to support it and and do it in a positive
Facilitate
way.
the players making
Yeah,
the changes,
You
not
exactly, but you don't have to make it painful.
Yep.
Just give them the tools to make it simple but meaningful, and that's what I mean. And it's as simple as creating a contract. Hey, I need this ship from New Babbage to Lorville. I'm paying $100K. Somebody will do that. Somebody will do that. And to the dumb, I think this guy's a dumbass. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. Says Eve wishes it was Star Citizen. Eve laughs at Star Citizen every day. All of its players and all of its devs. And you know what? I dare you to go watch an Eve like video where they talk like dev updates. They do a lot of things just like Star Citizen from that standpoint, but all of their devs actually play and know their game in and out. So, oof. Yeah. There's lots of things that I don't want Star Citizen to be Eve. Just make that very clear. There are some really great things that Eve does that we can borrow. And there's lots of really good things that Star Wars Galaxies
all the good
did.
elements.
UO, why are we not talking about other games? People like that guy in the YouTube chat are like justifying their purchases in SC. I've seen his name around before. It's always negative comments about me. So it is what it is. But if I think that's who it is, but I'm not sure. There's a 1 on their name, so it might be a different guy. But it's always like Star Citizen is special. They already did what made Star Citizen special. The planets are amazing. It's got a great community, and the ships and going in and out of the ships in first person is fantastic. I also love FPS in first person. It's amazing. You have the groundwork. Now keep it simple from there, and we're going to be great. All right, Shark, I'll let you go. Thank you for calling.
Don't forget to answer the call.
Yeah, dude. I don't have Croncy to stop my rants,
I
chat.
know.
So I'm sorry. All right, catch you later,
Hey,
guys.
take care, man.
Be good. All right, we're going to bring in our next caller, Ringo Shonen. Hey, Ringo and everybody behind, just be clear, I'm probably going to have to cut you guys shorter than I have. And I got to be better about my my ranting, okay?
All right.
Because now I'm pushing time. But welcome.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Right, well, what you told us to talk about.
Say hello to
What we
Croncy.
think's going to be patch. Oh, hello, Croncy. Oh. He looks like he's busy. I don't want to interrupt him.
Yeah, I think he's playing Magic.
Oh, or Hearthstone. I don't know.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see. So 4.7 crafting. I'm not going to try and like say what I want Star Citizen to be or any of that jazz. So crafting, good. I want to have guns upgrade.
Yeah, of
Actually,
course.
that's the thing. Would you say that if I have a gun, should I be able to upgrade the gun, or do I have to make a gun from scratch for it to be upgraded?
I I prefer the from scratch. That's just a preference. It doesn't have to be that way. I just love the idea of taking raw materials and making something. The idea of upgrading sounds so much less exciting and satisfying to me as somebody who loves crafting in video games. Go out, get raw material, make that item. Uh the upgrade part is like, oh, yeah. Like they already said you need the base item to upgrade. I've seen that, but that's still, you're not like melting that item and creating a new one. Like you are in the back end most likely, but yeah, you're just upgrading that item, right? So it's less satisfying to me. So my preference is new item, but they don't have
I mean,
to
if we're
do
gonna
that.
be
I
like
won't die if
gamify
they go
this,
upgrade. Let's
I
put
would
it
say
that way.
that you have to craft the gun to have its maximum values. And as you
Okay.
use the gun, it degrades. And upgrading would be you slowly trying to repair the gun back to its original maximum values that the crafter made it at.
Hmm.
Kind of like an
Okay.
upkeep thing, where you still have to spend resources to repair the barrel, and it'd be cheaper than completely buying the gun, but still should be expensive enough to where you'd just rather use it out and then ask that guy to make you another gun mint condition.
Yeah.
Or maybe it has permanent diminishing returns where, okay, this gun's 60% faster shooting rate, it gets damaged. You can only repair it to 55 now. It gets damaged, it only goes to 50, and then eventually you have to get another gun.
Yeah, that's that what is it? Like that's the smoking gun that they have said nothing about. They have shown durability, said nothing about it. So if durability goes down quickly and then we're constantly redoing this, because I gave you the Ultima Online example, 255 deaths before that thing is gone. It's kind of hard to do,
Yeah, that's.
right?
I'd make it smaller.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of guy who likes hoarding stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just try and run through these real quick. Uh, Armor skins, right now I don't care. Look however you want. But if we ever do get armor stats, like the heavy armor, I want to know that, hey, that guy's wearing that heavy armor set. So I don't want to try and shotgun him and knock him on his ass
Hmm.
because it won't work.
Yeah.
If he's got a skin on that makes him look like he's wearing Morzov armor, regular ass armor that doesn't do that, then I'm being fooled. And
Yeah.
this does ruin the whole cosmetics because once armor has stats, you can't like, oh, I'm dressed up as a heavy medic, but I'm actually a heavy sniper or a heavy gunman.
Yeah, because like in other games if they're holding an axe that they have to have heavy armor maybe or something.
Yeah, a warrior wielding an axe is a warrior. It's not a cleric. They'd be wielding a staff or a wand. Uh, to a lighter extent, skins on ships. I know the whole Hermes not being able to use Apollo skins. Like, I'm not too strong on this, but it's like, okay, I see a red ship and it's Apollo shaped. Okay, this is the medic ship. We can take it down real quick. Then it's like, oh, actually, this is the Hermes. It has the size 4 turrets. It's a little bit stronger and tankier. Oh crap! I mean, you can scan the ships. That's not really a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Also, I
the
was kind
last
of
caller
hoping.
disagreed with you. Like
Oh,
he's saying you're metagaming and say you don't know what people are wearing. That's just not. That's objectively false. You can absolutely tell, because we have scopes and not even like long range scopes, even just a couple. You could see heavy or light or medium. He's saying you don't know what their armor's made out of. That's not even true either, because you could definitely tell the if they're
I mean,
in.
I could see it if they crafted their armor and made it a specific way to where maybe it's more flexible, so it's lighter weight, kind of going with Conan
Yeah, you
Exile
can't
stuff.
tell the very minute changes, but you could tell if it is the Overlord armor versus the armor that versus Morozov. You could tell that from an FPS distance.
Yeah,
So that's what
let's
I'm
see.
referencing, which means you know what material it was made out of, which means you know what its average downsides might be.
If the game comes out and we play it long enough, we're gonna have this stuff memorized. We're gonna have callouts. We're gonna have shortcuts. Okay, he's wearing the XB armor. All right, use this against him. We're eventually gonna metagame it.
Yep.
Let's see. All right. The Apollo slash Hermes. I was hoping that they would fix it in 4.6. There's still no F interacts on the external door and elevator. You have to
okay.
hold F and go into interaction mode to open either the back door or the front personal lift elevator. All the internal doors, it works. The externals doesn't. Also, I hate the long ramp on the Hermes. It barely makes sense on the Apollo, but that ramp just gets in the way of everything when you're trying to move boxes.
Hmm.
Also, I think the RSI Apollo / Hermes chassis is the only RSI ship that doesn't have some sort of visual VTOL vents. Like, the ship doesn't visually change, it doesn't open up vertical ports, and it doesn't even change its flying stats, so getting it off the ground is a bitch.
Apollo, no, right? As well, just the two of them.
It's a copy and paste,
Yeah,
both of them.
got it.
Let's see. Yeah, moving ships from one station to another, I would just say give it the automatic expedite, just for free expedite it. No cargo though.
Yeah,
Whatever
can't have
bullcrap they
anything
want to put in
inside.
it, like if they want to include the free fuses and the reclaim material, whatever that it comes with stock when you reclaim it, fine that. But like if you put SU boxes in it, no, it gets left at the station.
Or you could have a player move
And
it then. It's got to move in
right,
the world and be at risk.
but if I
But
like
again,
go
there
from one
is no
station to
risk
another,
because insurance, so it doesn't matter.
well, I mean we're working on it supposedly. They're working on it.
Well,
But yeah, I'd just say it's a
I'm working on them because I don't think that they're making a system that there is risk. So I'm working on them. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to keep trying.
no.
I
Hopefully
want
this
to play
doesn't
this
send you on a
game.
giant rant, but you were talking about the whole, and I agree with you. When you have specialized characters that can only do a certain thing, and you have to rely on the community to get you what you want,
Yep.
it builds a better community, which keeps the game running. If everyone can do everything, then no one relies on anyone, no one communicates with anyone, everyone goes solo, they
Yep.
stop getting interested because they don't have friends.
And then there's
Right
20
now,
YouTube videos about how this MMO is dead. No shit, it's
yeah,
dead. You did
but right
everything
now,
already.
because Star Citizen doesn't want to have skill trees, level ups, or class systems, technically Star Citizen is a game where eventually everyone will be able to do everything. Eventually I'll get enough money to buy a mining ship, a refining ship, a cargo hauler, a medic ship, a
Yep.
battleship.
That's the
Would you
problem.
suggest? I mean, I would suggest, like, I don't know, maybe locking a character into a class, or maybe having limited skill points, but I don't know. That wasn't the original vision, so I don't want to put
We're
my
too far
2
gone
cents
from
in.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just too far gone.
All
I
right,
would
one
love
radical
skills,
claim, and
but we won't have that.
I'm going to ask a terrible question. Have you ever played Star Trek Online?
No.
Um, One thing that annoys me is that we have a one-size-fits-all shield, and not a shield that adapts to a ship. There's way more ships in Star Trek than there are in Star Citizen, believe it or not. No, you can't go inside of them, of course. It's always third person, you are the ship.
That's what
But
makes Star Citizen special. That's why we love it.
you do have to go and find the ship shields, though. And you will buy those from other players, and they'll have stats on them. The catch here, though, is if I have a specific ship, my ship has a modifier for shield and armor. So, if I have a Voth ship, that ship has like a 0.6 multiplier to hull. So if I put any armor on it, sucks. But it gets a 1.8 times multiplier to any shield I put on it. So instead of trying to balance shields, they balance the ships.
I've always been in agreement with this. That's lots of games. That's EVE Online too. Lots of games do this, and it works really well. Because then you see a ship, know that it's like most likely shield tanked, and then you know what weapons are good against shields, and then they have extra layers with damage types and stuff like that, right? So it's and it's simple enough to add depth, but not overcomplicate things.
Right. In this game, we just have, okay, well, we got to balance this ship so it gets 6 size 2 shields because we can't give it 1 size 3. That'd be too much.
But then 2 are only active at any time. It's such a weird thing. And then they try to do it with all this engineering. It's all, we did everything before we knew what the hell we wanted to do, and now we're trying to make it work because you spent real money on these things. And it's just like there's so much better elegant solutions, and they just choose the worst ones always, I feel like.
I was writing notes here. Yeah, what Star Citizen, the devs are doing is what we call in video game sense railroading. Like if you ever played a single player game like Fallout 4 and you're like, oh boy, I'm going to talk to this NPC, and your only options are yes, no, but actually yes, yes sarcastically, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Like we can't do anything. Hopefully like we get player choices, that would also make the game more fun. And last question, I'll let you go. You said there was some sort of upcoming Star Citizen event here in Florida. I
Not
think
that.
sometime last
No,
week.
Australia.
Oh, I thought you said there was
Little-
one about like 4 hours away from you, and you're like thinking about going to it, and then you just said, "Nah, it's too far away."
I don't know. I have no memory for that, but I remember who made the mission system. Like I said earlier, I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right.
You'd have to find the clip because I don't recall this at all. But they usually do things in Tampa, and I never go to. It's too far.
Oh, Tampa? Yeah, it's about
Yeah,
2 hours.
yeah. For me, it's 4, and it's it already happened, and I didn't go. Yeah,
Oh,
there you
well, never mind then. All right, well, thanks for
go.
listening to me yap on. I'll let you
No
get to the rest of
problem.
the callers.
All right, be
Thanks,
good.
Mike.
Thank you. Yeah, I had no memory of that whatsoever. That's really funny. All right, let's get to. Wait, there we go. Thank you for dumping yourself because I couldn't get you in there. Let's go to our resident yapper, Space Monkey Business. How you doing, dude?
That's a new one, Mike. That's a new one. Hi,
Yeah.
how you doing? I'm good. Hi, Croncy. Very focused, Croncy.
Yes.
So the next patch looks pretty stoked. I mean, with probably inventory rework, probably rock cracker, pretty
Yeah.
sure, and crafting.
If we get
it's
all
like,
that stuff, it's huge.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's also a question like, I think in the last 2 occasions we had a tech preview, and really short after we had a release of the feature. So I was wondering if this is the new standard they are aiming to fulfill, which would be really good.
Yeah, I mean, it
But
just could. I feel like some people out there are going to be disappointed and annoyed. I am not one of those. I think people may have expected me to be, but we had very much explained massive crafting system at CitizenCon where they went all the way up to ships, and this is only tiny stuff. But I think it's way better to like slowly do it, and I haven't heard anyone complain about it, but I imagine somebody might.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the transport tech preview will go, or when it will come, but it looks pretty good for the start of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty hyped about it. Maybe it's also interesting if the stuff you get probably from Rock Cracker is necessary for the items you need to or want to craft, and not only put it into Vicolo. Maybe they don't put it in Vicolo at all. Maybe, who knows? But I really hope for a change there. I have one remark to the current patch, because we all played, or probably well, not all, but a lot of people played the event, and I was thinking about how do we achieve it that it takes a little bit more time to finish it, but it's not like too it's not too griefy or not too doesn't take too long, and maybe you could, when you are in a group and you share the missions, you could at least the point rewards balance out for the distance you are away from the guy who hands in the mission, because that would nudge players to really play together. Like if you have like 2 people or 3 that play together, or end up in the same station and help each other out to unload the stuff when it is the cargo missions or whatever.
I mean, I think it's so much simpler. Like, you have to actually be at the mission location to get the reward for it. This idea of sharing missions and gaining from people not there is just makes no sense.
Mm.
Right?
Which is basically, yeah, it wouldn't say the same, but similar. Which is like there's a radius, and if you're within the radius when the guy hands in the mission, you get the rewards, and if you don't,
Okay, yeah. I
you
guess
get
that's
it.
okay. I mean, I guess we're saying the same thing, but you're talking about cargo, but what about what about the combat ones? Kind of same concept, right? You would
Yeah,
want them to be there when the guy dies, you know? They don't have to be the one to have done damage, but
yeah.
they need to be there.
Yeah, I think I aim for something in the middle, like middle ground, not so strict, but maybe just like far less than you would actually get when you're with the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one remark to your discussion earlier with the other two guys regarding the not the insurance, the skills and the specialization.
Yep.
Since we don't have like skills and other stuff which goes in that direction, the only thing we have now is the reputation system. So if you have like reputation with one group that gives you access to certain missions, certain materials, or being more efficient with some stuff and getting like special stuff for crafting with that faction, you would maybe limit it out that you only get the other stuff from the other faction, which is the opposite of that.
We
That
talk a
would
lot
be an
about that.
idea.
It is an
Yeah.
idea, but it's the easiest exploitable idea there is because you don't have any rep, but I do.
Mm,
You
mm.
give me money or you give me nothing because we're friends. And I give you the best shield in the game.
Yeah, but
Found
what's the
in
difference?
rock cracker under a rock. I found it there. And you did nothing to be able to turn that shield on and use it because there's no skills, there's no right. So like you didn't have to progress. Somebody did. Somebody got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like this idea of well, reputation will save it. No, it won't. It'll only save it for one person. But if that person grinds it, then you don't have to earn the rep. You don't have to have the rep to get that reward. Only somebody else does. And that's part of an economy, right? I go and grind the rep, you don't want to
Yeah.
do it. I sell that item. It could work, but it's
It's a
it
subpar
doesn't
solution.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the best solution, and the best solution is something that they don't want to do, and
But
that's
I would
fine.
take I would take a subpar solution over
Over
no
nothing.
solution. So
Yeah,
yes.
agreed. And I don't think we can get the best solution because the best solution would be skills, but that would totally undermine everything that Star Citizen is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It would a huge benefit of the game was always like I can hop in as a new player and attend the quote unquote late game stuff, whatever that might be, because
yeah,
there is no skill. And I would still keep it because it's pretty unique. And we saw how all the old other MMOs or similar MMOs just die.
yep.
And why
I
not do it this way?
I'm not going to go on a rant, but do you know how you solve that problem that we just came across? If everything
Tell me.
dies when it dies and
Yeah.
disappears or can be stolen and you don't get it back. If you like so if I do all the work for you and hand you this really really expensive ship and you don't know what you're doing and you die,
Yeah,
it's
I
gone.
think there must be some way to lose stuff. I'm also for not for, but I don't have a problem with getting like lower tier stuff back, but don't get tier 5 or 4 stuff back. So if you're really into late game and you lose it, you have to pay a price for that, and you don't get it back easily. I played a lot of Arc Raiders in the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and when you lose the really bad stuff, it doesn't hurt that much. It's
No.
maybe not the same pain like Tarkov, but it's like, okay. But hey, I can get it back with some effort, but the effort is not gigantic. But
Exactly. Like that's where the developer is and needs to be is figuring out how to balance the loss
exactly.
so it's not painful. It allows the economy to exist and this world to be alive and you're partaking in it, but it doesn't allow to be the loss to be just like infinitely painful. And it's a tough balance. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I just watched an economy like update from Eve Online today from a streamer, and like one of the items that makes cap ships just spiked for some reason, and now cap ships are going to be more expensive, and it's like okay, but then the players go and realize
Interesting.
that that item is really expensive, so they go and get that item, and then that price goes down, and then cap ships balance out. But CIG would go, ooh, I got to get my sticky little fingers in there, and then just lower the price,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like that had nothing to do with
Well,
us. Yeah.
I mean, so far the economy updates have been okay-ish, but as long as there's no dynamic economy, it's like okay, it's labels and numbers, but it doesn't feel alive.
Yeah.
It's like
Like I feel my favorite thing about what they said is if like your ship blows up, it doesn't blow up anymore, right? Like your ship should not blow up. It
yeah,
still does
yeah,
currently, but it like they told us it wouldn't. We were all excited about it and they're still blowing up. But like if you lose your ship and those items weren't stolen out of it, like you have the choice. You claim and we could go any direction. You get money back, you get the ship back, blah 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 blah. That none of that matters in this conversation. But you claim or you go and repair it. And the go and repair it option should be the better one, but the more timely one or the more effort one.
yeah.
You know? And you could choose to make the effort if you have time. If you don't have time, you pay. And that's it. So
Yeah, I'd always remember the Valheim situation I had with friends when we played together, and we
oof,
are
those corpse runs can be
on
a
a
pain in
big.
the ass.
Yeah, true. But we were on the big ship, and we we landed on a riff, and we lost the ship. We lost everything in the ship, and then we was like, "Fuck, we need to get this shit back."
Yep.
We went there by foot and recovered all items, and it took us like 1.5 hours for
Yep.
a group of 5 to do it. But it is a memory. It was like, fuck, remember that shitty situation, which
Exactly.
was
Is it
funny after we managed it, but was shitty when it happened. So I was like, yeah, give me more for that because that sticks. That is a memory. That's really good.
guess what? Something happens to a player in Star Citizen, backspace, claim,
Yeah.
self-destruct, who cares? No story, nothing to share, right? We play video games, especially MMOs, for the
True.
stories and the moments and the things that happen with your friends. Do you remember that time when that thing happened? We don't have the ability if there is no risk, there is no loss, there is no any of that stuff. I'll push that forever. But Space,
Yeah.
last comment.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
I missed the start because I saw there's a big text in questions for the show. I don't know if you did that already.
No, I didn't get a chance to. Did you put it in?
No. It was another guy. So I just mentioned it that maybe you can go over it so you don't forget it.
Questions for the show. Got it.
It's a pretty long text, so I
Do
didn't
you
read it,
remember
but
what it
I
was?
just saw it.
So I don't have to read it? Oh no, you just saw it.
No, sorry, I did. I just saw it, so I thought like maybe also something you can comment on.
It would have to be next week because I don't want to stop and read
Ah, yeah,
this
okay.
novel during the show.
All right,
But
that's it for me.
yes, I'll try and remember that. Thank you.
All right, have a good
But,
one.
all right, bye,
See you
Space.
next
Be
time.
good, man.
Bye.
All right, this is our last caller. I don't know who's pulling people in, but it wasn't me. But we're gonna bring in Snugs, and he's gonna be our last because I do have to run. Snugs, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey Mike, how's it going? I'll try to be quick. I have like one positive thing and one negative thing. And
Okay.
I'll start with the negative thing maybe. I'm of course extremely excited about crafting and like was
Same,
jumping
likewise.
out of my seat when Benoit said 4.7
Yep.
on. I lost my mind. It was awesome. Um I really have a lot of concern about the way that it looks like they're going to put crafting into the game, which is it sounds like from what we heard on SCL that even though tier 1 item recovery is coming, it's not coming in 4.7. And that we're putting crafting in where people are just going to craft to get the best thing and then that's it and they're walking away and they're not dropping crafting with player trading. It was not mentioned at all
No.
in the SCL, and that really, really worries me.
Well, they're not even dropping crafting. Like they're dropping a crafting playtest into
yes.
the thing. So to be fair to them, I think they're doing the right thing and just saying, does crafting work at like a massive scale? Do we, do people, let's just get the feedback from people and see what they're thinking before we go into this like much wider experience. I wouldn't be concerned that we don't. I mean, I would be concerned that we don't have a marketplace where we can, do things and share with each other, contracts, whatever. That's all concerning. But the timing of the crafting test versus not having that, I wouldn't be concerned about that. I would be concerned in general, though, that they never talk about it. They never invest time into those things, and those are paramount. You have your CIG economy people talking about how they changed the price of some material that, still doesn't make you want to use it. So it's just like, okay. Wow, you looked at a spreadsheet. Okay. I mean, like, I know what the commodity stuff was definitely hard work for sure. I don't want to undermine that, but it also could have just been us that decided the prices of commodities, not you.
Right. Well, I don't know. I guess my worry, and maybe it's too pessimistic, but like that, it sounds like from the vision of 1.0 that we heard 2 years ago, that crafting is this super integral pillar of the game. And I agree. I think it's good that they're just doing like FPS items and ship weapons. I think that's a fine place to start before, scaling up. I'm right there with you. But like the way that it sounds like they're implementing is, it's just going to be an afterthought. And I worry that then they're going to see that it's kind of an afterthought for players and make changes and treat it like it's an afterthought instead of blossoming it into this core pillar of the game. And I guess I don't know. I'm worried about that. And maybe I'm worried for the wrong reason, or I shouldn't be worried, but I don't know. I'm worried personally.
I think you're totally fine to be worried all the time. Until they give you a reason not to be worried, it's kind of hard to tell you shouldn't be, right? They got to give you good reasons to be excited. You invested in them, that they would deliver on what they made you think this game would be, right?
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, well, I guess in maybe a slightly more positive note, I really appreciated like the SCL on the whole.
100%. Me
This
too.
weekend, it's something where like I went to the one of the official watch parties for SitCon this year with all my buddies, and we all walked out of that initially being like, that was kind of disappointing, right? And then the more that I think, at least personally, I thought about it, it was like, you know what? I'm actually not disappointed, because there's not a single thing at SitCon that I don't think they'll be able to achieve this year, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there was more of that in the SCL.
It was a realistic showing of what they want to do.
Right.
We'll see what happens with instancing, but yeah, that's the only one that is like, that might have some problems.
Yeah. But I feel like Jared's saying point blank in the SCL, like every single thing you saw at SitCon is scheduled and being worked on for this year. And I think I got off the SCL feeling confident that actually was going to happen. And I know it's clear from that show also, a lot of comments Benoit made, that there have been major changes to the company and the way that they're developing the game. And it feels like there are more realists and executors than dreamers at CIG. And of course the dreamer in chief is still there, obviously, but like the people, like, it was refreshing to be like, no, they're actually working on concrete tasks to get us to 1.0, and that just felt good. Of course they need to show us and prove that over the next year, but I don't know, I feel some hope.
To me, CitizenCon was incredibly underwhelming. So it's like, yeah, you better be able to do all that stuff because it wasn't that much. But they're doing more than that. Like for me, if we're not looking at base building, I would be surprised by the end of the year.
With crafting this early, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I'm there with you.
So
okay, those were my thing. Oh, can I give a quick, very brief shout out to Sharkbite? I suck at using the character creator in Star Citizen. I've always wanted my character to look like myself, and it was just awful. He's amazing at making custom SE characters. So
yeah, hit him up in the Answer the Call Discord.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
No problem, Slugs. Be good, dude. Bye-bye. All right. That is the show. So, yeah. It may seem like I'm abrasive, aggressive. Like, I die on a lot of hills. Guys, like, this is my 300 hill. I I don't see a world where we don't use something like durability, complete loss, something. That's it. I don't know. Like, it's not my job to decide what it is, but I feel like it's my job to be like, hey, this doesn't make sense. How am I going to like? I know what we did before when we had loss, and it was amazing, right? FS9 is the top gun in the game at the time. You can only find it through looting. PvPers want that gun. They don't want to farm bunkers over and over and over again in open red crates for the rest of their life. Right? I was willing to do that, and I was willing to charge them a good price. And guess what? Mongrel Squad reaches out, Shadow Moses reaches out, Space Cutlet reaches out, other people start reaching out. Our Discord starts getting people joining it and requesting things. Now we're like a buyback program for pirates and a bunch of big orgs who don't feel like dealing with UEX, which we don't do anymore. We don't sell anything on UEX during the exploit days. But before the exploit days, it was like, we'll go 80-85% UEX price right now. You sell us everything, we'll give you a lump sum, and then we go and sell it on UEX. And it's like, you know, like all of those things are not possible if people don't lose stuff. It just kind of is true. Because UEX for Polaris, UEX for a lot of things, very quickly started to tank once the active players earned their ships. Right? Once the active players got their ships, that was it. It was game over. So I feel extraordinarily passionate about them getting this right. And it's not about it's not just about me. It's not just about me. But it's just, I have played so many games that either did this or didn't do this. And the ones that didn't do it got boring for me really quickly. And the ones that did have loss, I still play to this day. The only reason I stopped playing Ultima Online was because all my friends did. They went to a shard I didn't have a character on. I didn't feel like taking a year to level up another character, right? Or whatever amount of time it would have taken. I just didn't want to do it. And I was like starting to get into Star Citizen, and I was like, I'm done. So yeah. I think they just need to say this is what our game is and develop towards that. And they don't do it. They just don't do it. I mean, they came out and did the 1.0 thing. They did it. The shittiest idea. I just don't know how that's going to work. I just don't know how that's going to work. But I also am so scared to put my opinion out there and say we need to lose stuff to players who, you know, call the moment you fire a gun at somebody at Hathor a griefer. So, like, I don't know how to communicate this to this community that just they got roped into playing a game that will absolutely die if it stays the game that they want it to be. And it absolutely won't if they change it. And I just struggle with that. It's really, really hard. Because I don't want the people who've backed this game to make a reality upset. But I don't see a world where you can enjoy the game and have these servers running and active and be an MMO, which is lots of people in one place, community, needing each other, talking to each other, doing things together because it makes sense to. Guys, there were literally content creators. I went on Twitter, big mistake. There were people who are getting into being a content creator, I guess, because I didn't know who they were, but they so they might be new. Talking about how this event and joining a giant party, smashing left bracket was like, I really felt a part of a community. Everything felt alive, and it's like, what? So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. You are sitting alone in a space station hitting left bracket. What community are you talking about? Like, at least with the Vandal mask and hey, is Jumptown safe? That was community. That was community. There's a difference. And more of the previous for community building, less of the current, and I think we'll be in a good place. But I'm done ranting. I'm just going all over the place. I hope you enjoyed the show. I miss Croncy. I like having the back and forth. I way prefer the show like that. I imagine you way prefer it as well. But this was an episode where I was going to be this way no matter what, because this is everything. This is everything. Even if it's not the thing that you want, it's everything. So they got to get it right, and I don't think they're getting it right, and I'm super scared, and I really hope they get it right, and I care so much, and I hope you recognize that. You got to lose stuff in one way or another, and it can't be incredibly painful. It's got to be simple to get the stuff back, but it's also got to drive an economy. And the way they're doing it doesn't achieve both of those goals. It only achieves one of them, from what we can tell. Got to achieve both, and that's it. But with that said, everybody, as always, I'll do the outro this time myself. I appreciate you guys. Hit the follow button. Check out Croncy if you guys haven't yet. I see somebody talking about it in chat. I did do a little collab podcast with Enterprise on his channel. So you just look up Enterprise Star Citizen on YouTube. You'll find it. And I appreciate all the love and all the frustrations today in the chats as well. And because, again, it's just a conversation. We all want the game to be as good as possible. And I will not stop. If you hate this conversation, it will not stop until CIG kills the game. I will not stop because this game has everything going for it. Everything going for it. Right? They just got to do that. And with that said, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And don't forget to answer the call. I got to do the cringe all by myself. Ridiculous.